Absolute breaking news. The Age of Empires mobile dev team seem to be listening to us, the good old community, because yes, the official Age of Empires mobile Discord did do an announcement, and I do believe this might be posted in other areas too on their socials, to do with Empire migration. And the Empire migration event is going to be key, because this is going to tell you everything we've been wanting to know. Where people can migrate, how is this kind of like migration, especially grouping, works, and then more importantly, we've got even more information such as an increase in slots to the migration. So smash like, comment, and subscribe. And if you want to migrate to, Empire 64, guys, I will be adding at the end of the video a whole section just to explain if you guys want to migrate. These are the steps so you can just follow along and easily apply to our Empire, right? So first thing, let's dive into the good old slots, because the big talking point, I think, is the fact that we've got an increase in slots, guys. Leading and normal empires now have an increase of 50 and 75. So it means from 30 to 50, we've gained 20 and 25 extra slots, which isn't massive, but when you are trying to think in the long scheme of things, right, 50 slots does mean, in theory, if you've got a 150-man alliance, one alliance can be split into 3 kingdoms, which does reduce technically the density of where you can potentially go and get a lot more players in there. On top of that, what it does also mean, if you're a leading empire, you could go for 50 members from a one alliance, wait for the next migration again, do it again, wait, do it again, right? So it does have that kind of delay stagger if you are trying to do a mass migration. The way this 50 and 75 slot does appeal to me, and why I think it's going to be pretty okay for the start, and I do think it's gonna get increased again at some point, if I'm honest with you guys, is the fact that it's perfect for small groups. Honestly, if you're an empire and you're trying to find members to join that empire, and you've got groups of like 5 or 6 or maybe like 3 to 4, even up to maybe 10 members, this is perfect, right? Having 50 to 75 slots is quite workable for small groups and individual migration, which is really nice to see, to be honest. However, for massive projects where people are trying to migrate 100, 200 members into their empire, this isn't going to be fathomable, right? This is only going to be a staggered project where if you are still planning on doing that, you need to think and communicate to those empires, okay, we're only going to take 50 of your players, maybe it's like 25 and 25 from your top 2 alliances to split it down so you can still compete, but we've got them over here. Next rotation, we get another 25 and then another, you see where I'm going, right? So at least it is an increase, let's be honest, and we could talk about this point, I think, backwards and forwards all day. I think for the positive, it's a W, right? The devs have increased the thing. The one major disgruntled that everyone was annoyed about was the 30 and 50 migration slots, and to get 50 and 75 feels a lot better. Is it going to increase again? Hopefully, just so we've got a better, migration path. Maybe if it was more like 75 and 100, that could be really cool, because then you are basically going to be able to migrate in half an alliance, and then the other empires can basically get an entire alliance in. 100 slots is a lot of players to inject into your empire, but it could change very drastically then. The more migration slots you have, the more the empire power rankings are going to keep shifting about. You could be in the top 20% and the next minute you're going to be gone, right? Just because of this. So it is something we need to keep an eye out. I think it's going to be interesting. We do want someone to kind of like maybe follow out that data. It would be really cool to see all the data on the current power of kingdoms and so on. But yeah, moving on though, we have then the big talking point, the migration event area, and it doesn't honestly tell you anything in here to do with the passports. But for you guys, if you want, I will put the little point down at the bottom, but there is a migration discussion area and there's a migration FAQ area. So if it is a real major point you want to ask, I would honestly say to you guys, please go there, right? Just go there, ask there. They're the dev team. They're going to give you the better answers than myself, who has to go and do that same job anyway, right? So if we go to the Migration Empire event though, this is where things are going to get spicy, because we've got groupings, and these groupings are basically telling you where you can migrate to. These are like a bunch of servers being put together. The devs have decided, okay, this is the way we're going to do this. Maybe group 1 are considered the top 20%, and everyone else here is below the top 20%, which could make sense potentially in terms of power, and that would mean anyone in here is going to have the same migration slots to each other. And then group 2, 3, 4, and 5 obviously potentially having at least 75 slots. So those are kind of things we have to be looking at. I can't guarantee that because I personally haven't gone through and checked all the data, right? I may do this maybe one day. Maybe if you guys can convince me, we can do a live stream and we'll go through potentially a lot of these kingdoms and try to find as much of the ranking data we can and put it through into like a spreadsheet or something, right? But the way this is working is if you're in group 1, so if you're in any empire from what I'm about to say, you can migrate within each other, meaning anyone from Empire 16 going all the way to Empire 27. So from Empire 16 to 27, those 11 can migrate anywhere, including to Empire 40 to 49. Then you've got 64 to 70, then Empires 88 to 95, then Empires 104 to 107. So if you got all of those groups, you would see there's 41 empires in total, and you're going to be able to migrate from any one of those empires, meaning technically you have the choice right now of 40 empires to potentially migrate to in group 1. So if you want to migrate, it is going to be up to you technically to do your due diligence, go do some research, see if that empire matches the vibe you want and the experience you want, and then try and get there. Try and put the application there, see if you can go through the methods and join that kingdom. So when we're going now into group 2, it should be a lot more easier. So we've got Empires 8 to Empire 15. This is Empire 28 to Empire 31. Empires 39 to Empire 63, Empires 71 going to Empires 87, and then Empires 116 to Empires 122. So you'll notice all of group 2 is basically all of the other empires that we didn't mention in this one, in the group 1, right? So if you are in the group 2, again, you're going to have over 40 choices of different empires that you're going to potentially be able to migrate to. So just remember, for example, if you're in Empire 8, you could migrate to Empire 59 or Empire 60, 61, 62. You could even go to Empire 71, 72, 73, 74. So you can see where I'm going, right? Empire 81 you could even migrate to because it's in this grouping of 71 to 87. So those is your choices. Group 3 though is basically, I believe, all of the empire project areas, which is kind of crazy. You got Empire 1, Empire 1 to 7, you got Empires 32 to 39, you got Empires 50 to 58, Empires 96 to Empires 103, and then Empire 108 to 115. That is 40 empires in that grouping, meaning, as you guys can guess, you're going to have 39 different migration choices to go there. And then the final two groups is Empires 123 to Empire 163, meaning you got 41 different empires to choose from, aka 40 again. So it's easy, right? If you're in Empire 23, you're allowed to migrate to Empire 150, for example, right? If you're in group 5, it's 164 to 196. So it's a total of 33 empires. So that is 32 different choices that you've got. So again, an example, if you're in Empire 164, you can easily migrate to like 172 or 85, right? All these different numbers you are going to be able to migrate because that is in your grouping. So those are the migration groups. That is honestly a nice, cool news. I want to hear your thoughts about it, obviously right now. Put a little timestamp down in the comment section below. Let me know what you think about the 50 and 75. Obviously, this is a positive. We've got to take it in as a positive, right? Because it is, we're getting an increase. But do you think it's enough? Do you want a little bit more? And if so, please suggest what number you would like. Do you think having 75 and 100, 60, 100, right? 65, 125, who knows, right? You can pick your two numbers and let me know in the comment section down below. But to finish off the video, like I said to you guys, if you want to migrate into my empire, a lot of people have been asking over the last few months. It's been constantly bombardment, and honestly I want to say thank you for all the messages and interest for people who do want to come into Empire 64. I am not in charge of recruitment. We do have a recruitment officer for that, but we're going to explain that right now. So if you go into the official Age of Empires mobile Discord, there is the community area which allows you to go to the ally recruitment zone. This is where you can go to join or find new empires to recruit. I will have a direct link to this in the description and pin comment down below, so you can just click on one of those links and go straight to this, and you will get introduced to this post. Fight alongside Kingdom 64 in Age of Empires Mobile. This is my kingdom, right? It's got a nice little structure. So if you guys are wondering, the way we have structure is with one of the selling points down at the bottom. We have fixed MGEs. Some people don't like fixed MGEs, but the way we have them, and a nice easy way to explain this, is through your activity. So if you are playing in Mightiest Empire, the brand new Golden Expedition, if you are participating in a Battle of Dawns and Wonder Contest, the main 4 PvP events that honestly make an impact on the alliances and Empire, you're going to get points. And with those points, you can then basically bid for a fixed MGE spot, and then what that does is just make it cheaper for you, and it honestly allows us to kind of spread a little bit more of these heroes, so we have more of them on the battlefield. And obviously we're going to have hero people that will have them 5-starred, some people that will have them 3-starred, right? But it's better to have all of them done instead of just having a very small might group. So we have a fixed MGE. Some people don't like it. That's perfectly fine. If you don't like it, obviously I wouldn't say come to Empire 64, because that is one of the main things we have in here, right? So really good little kind of point there. The Kingdom Guard Elite, this is obviously where people can join, and basically it's a nice little group for you guys. If you're a big power player, you can join and talk to other big power players. Obviously we have a massive competitive community. You know us guys, right? We like to compete. You've got my channel here too, and having a little bit of fun, right? But the real main thing is how to contact them, right? So if you've got what it takes, as you can see, to join, you can message one of these 3 people, right? 4 people, should I say. So you got Sonic, Soundwave. These are the 2 kind of co-leaders, as well as Rave and Raffi. Basically, Soundwave was my leader in Moon, while Sonic was the leader in Sun, and now we've kind of all merged into one nice big family, right? So really easy. Contact one of these members about what you want and if you want to apply. If you do, right, you will most likely be sent the Kingdom 64 Discord. And what that will look like is, once you get through, you'll join it and hit the migration onboarding area, right? So this is where you're going to be able to see the rules page. You can see how there's a lot of rules. I don't want to kind of spoil it here. You guys can read it yourself and understand what we've done here, right? We've got all the different roles, so you understand there's a lot of, you know, points in this, right? There's a lot of structure put into this kingdom, right? But then you can go into the migration application, make a selection, server 64 migration, you would click on, and then follow the onboarding procedure, right? Once you get through that onboarding, your request will be most likely picked up by one of the recruitment officers. They will then speak to you, and then it'll carry on through there, right? And if you get in, you get in, and if you don't, I do apologize, but maybe you might get in the next migration stages, right? And then on top of this, if you got any questions, they do have a really nice onboarding question area. So if you've got questions you want, You can put it all down here, and you can even see they've put some nice little kind of checklist things down for you guys as well, right? So really cool little area if you just want to have any extra questions towards the migration before you even put in your application potentially for your account. So that's it. If you want to join Empire 64, the links will be in the description down below. But hopefully you guys have enjoyed today's video. Nice, quick, easy one in the morning, all about migration, and obviously the big announcement yesterday, all about the migration groups and the increase in slots. So with all that said, smash like, comment, and subscribe. And if you want to support me as a content creator, you guys know what to do. Check out the creator link for Eneba. I want to say thank you for everyone that has been using it so far. Honestly, much appreciate the support. And with that, stay safe, stay sneaky. Peace out.